Here we go
Welcome
to another episode.
Living Well Together.
Big life in a small town.
Yeah, you got
Big
it.
life. And we got another awesome small town guest today.
my gosh,
Who's
so
moved into a
awesome.
bigger town, actually. Well, no, it's still a small town, but uptown. Let's call it uptown.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we started out knowing him in this very small town
True that.
that we love.
And you're probably out of diapers by the time we knew you, but we've known you a long time throughout childhood. In fact, one of the joys of my life has been watching you and your brother kind of grow up because we're connected through your parents.
So just a little heads up. This is Harrison Wolfe.
Oh, go. Yeah.
And
kind of
we were
important.
talking right before we started recording about how long we have known Harrison. And so now take it from there.
Well, no, I don't want it's not about me. We're going to make it about him. So you
about-
tell us your story.
Well-
I'm not going to tell your story.
I still kind of live in a small town. So me and my wife, we live in Morrow, Ohio, which,
Okay.
I was living in Cincinnati for a while, but we've settled down in Morrow, Ohio, which to me feels like a really small town.
The bedroom community of Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, and we're right outside of Kings Island. So
Okay.
I still work in Cincinnati and it takes me 25, 30 minutes to get to work. So, we're up there a little ways.
How
yeah.
far is that from here?
It's still about 45 minutes to here. Yeah. And that's why we moved there. So Hannah's parents live in Loveland, Ohio, which is 10 minutes from our house.
Okay.
And we can hop on 48 to 42 and be up here on 35 in 45, 50 minutes. So
Right.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of numbers.
For
all at once.
swimming
Yeah.
and
yeah, it's a lot of, yeah. So we come up and go to the pool and hang out with my parents. So
But born here in Fairborn.
born and raised here.
Thriving metropolitan Fairborn.
Yeah. Yeah. Rona Hills. So,
right around the corner.
That was back when it was safe to just run the streets uncontrollable.
it's got to be safe there, right?
It's still safe there. And Rona Hills Pool.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
grew up swimming there, right? And there's tennis courts, basketball courts back there, but there's no pool anymore.
No. Even the pool shut down, I think, while we were still living
Yep.
there. So
Okay.
I lived there for 10 years or maybe 12 years
Okay.
before we moved to their house now,
Got it.
or my parents' house now. But yeah, that pool was open for a little bit. I was thinking about that pool actually, because my dad was talking about going to that pool when he was a kid.
Right.
And because to me, it wasn't open that long because I was young.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they opened this pool up and then they closed it. And I'm thinking about when my dad went there when he was a kid. So that
Yep.
pool must have been open for 40
That pool probably went
years.
into the 50s, maybe 60s.
I think they had to close it because the repairs were so
Yeah.
costly.
Yeah. Big concrete pond.
Your dad actually has some really funny stories about how much trouble he got in at the pool.
Yeah,
we-
yeah.
I'm sure he shared
I've
this
heard
with you.
some of those. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think Rob was just being a young man that was having a good time. You know, I don't think
probably.
he was being.
Yeah. Yeah, the phone calls that my grandma would get about him getting kicked out. So he's
Yeah.
on his way home. You should be on the lookout for him. Yeah.
So you didn't have the joy of getting kicked out of the Rona Hills.
No. But we ran around that neighborhood
Oh, yeah.
all the time, riding our bikes to the park. We had friends, other kids our age in there playing football, basketball, baseball in the street.
Yeah.
We had a pool at our second house there. So
Yep.
we
I remember that.
we would swim there. So it
That was
was
the old Billows place.
yeah.
The old Billows place.
State.
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah.
And when you guys moved to that house, it was like 3 or 4 doors down.
Yeah, just down the street.
Across
Down
the
the
street.
street?
Yeah,
that's
we
a
could have walked
pretty
our
easy
stuff there.
move.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What did you like best about growing up in Fairborn? The fact that you
I think it was all of that. Yeah, I mean, my oldest son's homeschooled now, so he doesn't really go to school. But I think back to I went to Black Lane Elementary, and there'd be days I'd ride my bike to school. Like I was like, how kids don't get the
No.
opportunity to do that anymore for whatever reason. Maybe the schools are just farther away from where they live, but yeah, I could ride my bike to school. My last year there, I did. They had the safety guards at, how it's up a hill and there's like 4 or 5 streets. So there's, there's sidewalks that you have to cross or streets you have to cross and there has to be a safety guard to put the flag out. I got to do that and that was awesome.
Woo!
Yeah. So I would go there early before school started to help kids walk across the street.
Yep.
And then I'd have to get out there. I get to leave school a little bit early
Yep.
to get down there to help them cross the street. And I
too
thought that
was
was
on the-
awesome. Yeah.
I too was on the safety patrol as a grade school
Yeah,
person. Yes.
Did you have a special uniform?
Well, we wore like a yellow belt, you know,
Yes.
and we had the yellow flag.
Very
so.
official.
Yeah, and in the wintertime, they give us hot chocolate. You know, it's
Yep.
cold, so we
Yeah.
get to come in and
Well,
get
you're
our
working
hot
for the
chocolate.
man.
Yeah.
There's
Started
perks.
working at a young age.
There's perks when
Yeah.
you're working for the
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So, all of that growing up in that neighborhood and going to that school. I mean, it shut down the year we moved away. I think was right when they were closing that school down.
I think they're getting ready to knock the whole building down
Are
here
they?
in the not too distant future.
That'll be interesting.
So, and then graduated, went to college.
Well,
where?
he actually went to Beavercreek High
Yes.
School, right? Even though you lived in Fairborn.
Yeah, it's a Fairborn address my parents have, but
Yeah.
Beavercreek Township. So I finished up at Beavercreek High School. But even going there, I stayed in touch with a bunch of people from
Yeah.
Fairborn that I was friends with. I still played on a baseball team in the summertime that was probably 50% my friends from Fairborn.
Right.
We had kids from all over the city at that point, but we stayed in touch all the way until we graduated in high school, and then we all went on our way.
Right.
So cool. So did you play sports all through growing up?
Yeah. Fairborn Little League. I was there playing baseball. I played soccer for the Fairborn Skyhawks Soccer Club for a little bit. Soccer wasn't my thing, so I gave that up. There was a time I played hockey at Hockey Town. Hockey Town, right?
Yeah.
Was it Hockey Town by Sportsplex?
Yep.
Yeah.
Roller hockey.
Oh, I
You're looking at
didn't
me
even-
like, what am I talking about?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
even know there was a hockey place.
Well, did they turn it into a
Another
soccer
soccer?
I think
field?
so. Indoor soccer.
Yeah. So it was indoor
Wow.
roller hockey.
Oh, wow.
And my dad knew the guy that
kinda cool.
I think started that place. I forget. So me and my brother played on the same team, and we got to play roller hockey there. And we did that for like a year or two. Got to a point where with soccer and baseball and hockey and all this other stuff was getting
We're never
crazy.
home.
Yeah. So we had to decide. And at the time, I decided to keep playing soccer. Well, I kind of wish hockey was fun. I don't know that I would have gone and played ice hockey. And I think that place quit. I think that place turned into soccer like shortly after that too. So I don't know that it was roller hockey's like super popular or anything now. Now it's lacrosse.
Now it's lacrosse. Oh my gosh. And your son
Yeah.
plays lacrosse,
Yeah.
the oldest son, because the other two are
Yeah.
not
The other
really
two
at that
are
stage yet.
yeah. Just crawling around and beating on each other. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Ryland played lacrosse for the first time this year.
Yeah.
And it was
a cool
great.
sport.
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
wish it
Our
was
grandsons
available?
are both playing lacrosse.
Are they?
And so this was our first year of participating in lacrosse in any
And
way, shape,
learning
or
the
form.
rules
Yeah.
because there are a lot of crazy rules.
Yeah.
It's super fun though.
Yeah, I don't know all the rules, but yeah, I think it's a good sport. I didn't think he would like it that much, but he did really like it. So
Nice.
Do you think some of that is because he likes kids that he plays with?
yeah. And like I said, I think I mentioned Hannah homeschools him. So, but he's done all the sports in King's local school district. So
Right.
he's played on the King's baseball team. He's played King's basketball, King's lacrosse now. So he's really getting to know all the kids in the
Neighborhood.
school district. Yeah. And they're all familiar faces on all these teams, and he's not a super shy kid. So yeah,
Right.
he'll make some friends and have a good time.
No matter what he's doing.
Yeah. He was super excited about me being on this podcast, by the way.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, he asked me.
Hi, Ryland.
Everyone's, he asked me, questions for a couple weeks now about how it's going to go. And I think his big thing is it's on YouTube. He watches some stuff on YouTube. So he's like,
Check us out.
you're going to be on
Papa
YouTube.
Rob on there too.
Yeah.
Is that what you call him? Papa?
Yeah, Papa.
Yep.
So he's seen that video.
Okay. Cool.
Well, Graham has also started doing shorts too. So if he's on the
okay.
shorts channel,
Yeah.
he'll be able to see some shorts that we'll make sure that we have available for you too.
Yeah.
Cool.
And since it's G-rated, it'll flow through his thing.
Well,
you
we'll
know?
have the darker version is on after hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's the other channel called? Patreon. Thank you. Yeah. That's
for the Patreons.
that's
You got to pay extra
pay for that.
to get that content.
Yeah.
It's
Above and beyond.
it's like
Hearing the swear words.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
We don't get that out for free.
Graduated Beavercreek.
Yep.
Decided to go to undergraduate college where?
University of Cincinnati. So I was there for 4 years and hung out in Cincinnati. After that, and like I said, now we're a little north of the city, but I still work and
So when you went
hang
to
out in
college,
Cincinnati.
did you say, I'm going to college because I know here's what I want to do for a career? Or did you go to college saying, I'll figure it out when I get there?
I knew I wanted to be in business, and I did go into it with wanting to be in accounting. So I had an accounting major. I got into some of that coursework and started to realize
It's super boring.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this. I thought it'd be more numbers. It's a lot more rules, and that's how rules. Yeah,
Yeah.
the IRS puts out
Government.
rules,
It's government
and they
rules.
say these are what you need to do, and then we all just have to
This is how
interpret
you
them
need
and
to
abide
extract
by.
as much money from people as you can.
Yeah, pretty much.
Criminals.
And so, when you go to accounting school and you want to take the CPA exam to become a certified public accountant, you have to have 150 credit hours of college credit hours. So I had to add another major because I think a regular 4-year degree is like 120 credit hours. So you either go MBA or you add another major, or you figure it out.
Hook you into that system for a longer
Well, I
period
still
of time.
finished. I finished in 4 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good on
so
you.
I got 2
You
majors.
got the 150?
Yes.
In 4.
Now,
Yeah,
I guess we can
very
back up to high school.
Yeah.
My senior year of high school, I took 3 classes at the high school, and then I did they have a college education program.
Right.
So I was taking classes at Clark State that transferred that new campus they built in Beavercreek.
Right.
Well, it's not new
Yeah.
now. It was new. Those all transferred with me. So they counted. Now, I wasn't
head start.
doing coursework stuff, but it took care of a lot of my general education stuff that I didn't have to do at UC.
That's very impressive.
So my second year there, I think, is when I added the second major of finance.
Okay.
And then I got into that coursework, a lot more about investments and financial modeling.
Yep.
And so I started gravitating towards that
Yeah.
side of things. So I graduated from UC with an accounting and a finance degree. But ultimately I chose to take on financial planning as I, started to end my time at UC. It
Nice.
It's amazing.
When did you and Hannah meet? Were you in college or was it after college?
was after college.
Okay.
So we met.
So you were already
you put
gainfully
me on the
employed.
spot.
2018.
Yeah. Put me on the spot. 2018. Yeah.
Thankfully.
Oh, well, interestingly, the firm I was working at is in an office building in Rookwood, which is like Norwood area, just a little north of downtown. And my brother-in-law, her brother-in-law now, he's a personal trainer in the gym in that building.
Okay.
Hannah's mom was also a personal trainer.
Right.
And they were working together. And so they were training clients out of our building. Well, I just got to know him in the building. And Hannah has a twin, and he was dating Hannah's twin. He's now married to Hannah's twin.
Got it.
So that's how I sort of got connected with the family. And then
That
shortly
is
after that,
cool.
I met Hannah, and
So were they the
rest was history.
matchmakers?
Yeah,
The
I would say,
brother-in-law?
yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Because where I met Hannah originally was at a local bar called The Oak in Oakley.
Sort of like a blind date?
No, they happened to just be there, and I was there with my friends. So that's how we met.
But they already knew you. The brother-in-law and the mom, they already had been interviewing you basically
Oh, yeah.
for quite some time.
They knew a lot about me. At that point, yeah.
Right. They knew of your character.
Yeah.
So sort of random, but maybe just with a little nudge. Random with a little nudge.
Yeah.
For
Well,
that first meeting?
her mom and her sister would be like, there's this other one that looks like her,
Yeah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They really do look so
There
much
was a
alike.
nudge.
That would be a good picture.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we got to have a twins
The
picture
4
in there.
of you.
All 4.
And so, the next thing that was really intriguing to me is what your job title actually is.
Okay, so I'm an associate wealth advisor with Buckingham Strategic Wealth. I'm in my 9th year now, so yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know. Are your eyes bugging out of your head? Yes.
Yeah, my 9th year. Yeah,
That is wild. Was that your first job out of college?
not. I've always been. I've always been in the field of financial planning. I've been with 3 firms now.
Okay.
Some of those have to do with the mergers that we've done. So I started an internship with a firm right before I finished up college. So I started working with a firm. I was getting my licensing done and things that I needed to do. And I spent 3 years there. And then at 3 years went by, and then I became friends with a more senior planner in the firm, and me and him both left the firm to go to another firm in town. That firm is where I still work. Well, the people that I worked with in that firm are still who I work with. We had merged that firm into Buckingham back in February of last year. So
Got it.
about a year and a half now we've been with Buckingham Strategic Wealth.
I love the name Buckingham, don't you? It
Well,
sounds
it's-
so like
Yeah,
royal.
it's interesting too because we merged with them last February and recently announced we're merging. Us and another firm are merging together, and there's going to be a new name. So
wow.
so we're in the process of another merger right now, all for the good of where the where the industry and our organization is going.
Yeah. Are we allowed to know the name of it?
We don't have a name yet.
Oh.
So we don't know
So
the
we
name
should
yet.
start a kind of a poll where we all
What do you
get
guys
to
think it should
submit
be?
possible.
We
no,
could. So-
kidding. But will you still be an associate wealth advisor in the merge?
Yes.
After the merge?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I have noticed, and you and I have talked about this, like I said, it's kind of weird because I've known you since you're a little tiny kid. And if you would have told me 15 or 20 years ago, we'd be talking about wealth management and business and acquisition things and running a shop, I would have just laughed like out loud. My head would have gone back and you would have seen my tonsils. But what I have known, based on those conversations,
Yeah.
is that you are passionate about what you do.
Yes.
I mean, you have grown up into you're sharp. I mean, you know what's going on. And
Yeah,
so
look
when
at Sharp. This
but
is
when we
Sharp.
have these conversations, I just remember that, he used to be this little knucklehead running the neighborhood, and now he's like a real dude with a family and a job, and he's knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But what's passionate for you? What makes that a passion for you is managing resources. I'll call them resources because wealth is about more than money. Am I right?
Right, correct. Yeah. And that's, a lot of people think all we do is manage money. And
Yeah.
that's like one piece that we do.
Exactly.
We have to do it well, but there's a lot of other people that do it well too. So, how do we, what more can we offer? How do we make ourselves different from, what other people are doing?
Yeah.
So we call it comprehensive or holistic financial planning,
Which I
where,
love.
I thought you might like that. So there's a lot of other things that go into financial planning than just managing money. So
Will you give us some examples of that?
yeah, well, I guess I'll say that when we work with a client, we're taking them through 5 main areas that we'll say of financial planning. So we're looking at estate planning, we're looking at risk management. Well, let's back that up. So estate planning, do they have estate documents? Are they old? Do they have them at all? Are the people that are listed in their documents who they wish things to happen when they pass on one day?
Right on.
And then another one that's a simple one that some people overlook is beneficiary designations. So you can have beneficiary designations on a retirement account or life insurance policies, or even in your bank account, you can have, what's called a transfer on death on your bank account to make sure that the money and everything goes where it's supposed to go when something happens to you.
Got it.
So we start there really just to make sure all that's in
Yeah.
order. Those
The
are
basics.
easy.
Has it been
Foundational.
done? Do you have these things?
Correct.
And do they need updated or modified
Yeah.
in some way for
absolutely.
your current situation?
People forget who
And
they
then-
even put as
Yeah,
beneficiaries.
well, and people's lives change over time. So when you're younger and having kids, it might be your parents as maybe your power of attorney or a guardian of your kids. Well, then your parents, you get older, your parents are getting older. Does it still make sense for your parents to have that role?
Right.
Should it be a sibling or a family friend or someone else? So we're constantly looking at these to make sure that we're not, or that if they need updated,
Yeah.
we're having clients get them updated. Now, we're not attorneys, so we don't do that work.
Okay.
We partner with local estate planning attorneys
Wonderful.
that do all that. Hopefully with the, the merger stuff going on, and as we continue to grow out our services, we would like to see that be an offering that
would
our
be
clients
amazing.
just automatically get as part of hiring us. So
Yeah.
you're getting the wealth management piece. We're also bringing the estate planning to the table as well.
Right.
I love that one-stop shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like the
appreciate
question, does it
convenience.
still make sense?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Whether it's for your wealth and finance planning or whether it's for anything that you might be doing, does it still make sense? Does what I'm doing today make sense for my future? That's a great question.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah. So the other areas are just
Yeah.
risk management.
What does that mean?
Younger, what type of risk someone might face as they're, I guess again, everything, you're young and then you're
Yeah.
growing up. So, do we need life insurance? If something happened to either of you, are you okay? If he's no longer working,
Right.
is there debts that need to be paid off?
Yeah.
Our kid's going to go to college. We have to account for all that to make sure that the funds are available in the event of death.
Do you do disability and that type of thing?
yes.
Are you looking at all that as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we look at all of it, and I don't know if we'll get into this or not, but we don't actually sell any products. So my
Wait, hold on.
firm, go ahead.
You're not selling me something?
Nope.
Well, I like this better already.
Yeah, we're just advising on it. So
Yeah.
our firm is what's called fee only. So we only charge a fee on the assets that we manage for the advice that we're giving,
Right.
and that encompasses all the advice.
So you'll tell me I need life insurance of X, Y, and Z amount, but you're not the person who's going to provide it,
no,
which means you don't get a fee for
Correct.
me ordering it. Okay.
correct.
Do
So
you have people that you refer to?
yes,
Like, how would we find somebody that we knew that we could trust?
yeah. We have people that we refer to, and in a lot of cases, we are kind of the middleman in that situation where we go to the person and say, "This is what we want.
Okay.
Give me the quotes on what you got,
Got it.
and I'll present it to the end client and let them make a decision." So we're big on, we're going to put our best thinking in front of you at all times. We're not going to tell you what to do with your money. That's not our job. And we're just going to allow you to make the best decision for yourself. And because of the way we're set up, we're just collecting it's a flat fee on the assets that we're managing.
Right.
But as part of that fee, you get all the other services that we provide.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to sell you. It's all just, here's your options. Make a decision on what you would like to do.
Coaching.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the ways that sets you apart from
Correct.
in your field, I'll say.
Yeah. And it's slowly becoming more popular, but
Sure.
the industry's really changed a lot. I mean, it was stock brokers at first, and there wasn't really much financial planning going on. It's just, I'm my investment guy, and he's picking the hot stock of the day. And then the world has evolved and the industry's evolved to where now financial planning is kind of coming to the forefront. There's some other things going on in the industry where you see no firms are really raising their fees, but they have to offer more for those fees to win
Value.
new business. Yes, we're providing more value. More value for clients in what we do. So, we already take those steps of going through all those areas. I've only mentioned 2 so far.
Yep.
But
Actually, yeah. So estate, which would also include like trusts and stuff like
Correct,
that.
yeah.
And then the risk management.
Yep, risk
And
management.
then-
Goal planning's next. So,
Goal planning, I love
usually
that.
it's retirement planning or education planning, whatever goals someone has, when we first sit down with someone, that first conversation is more about what are you hoping to accomplish?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself going? How have you got to where you are now? And then it's more about, where those people see themselves going. And then we'll worry about the numbers and stuff later and helping them, make a plan to get there.
But they have to have a target, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we like to say that everyone should have a written financial plan, and it's not a plan if it's not date specific, number specific, or written down. So if you don't have those 3 things, you don't have a plan.
You're wishing.
Yeah. You're just hoping things fall in place.
Right.
And the rest of your family, if anything would happen, we're wishing
Correct. Yeah.
that had already been taken care of too. Okay, so goal planning and then
Yeah. So goal planning, and then cash flow.
Cash flow?
Planning.
Okay.
So, we work with a lot of retired clients, so we become their payroll. You work 30, 40 years, you're plowing money away in savings plans just to hope one day you're going to make it to be able to retire. And then that day comes, and that's kind of where my group in Cincinnati, we specialize working with retirees. So one of the guys I work with, he wrote a book about how to generate income in retirement.
Got it.
that's awesome.
So we build all our portfolios with this philosophy for retirees on helping them, make sure their money lasts another 30 to 40 years while they're retired.
Yep.
That's awesome. Are you allowed to share the name of the book?
Yeah, it's called Power of 5 Investing,
I like that.
written by Eric Chrisman. So yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay. Love that. Power of 5. That's awesome. Is it the 5 things that you're talking about? Here?
So 5 comes into play a lot. There's 5 principles in the book that we go through. And then in the principles, in 3 of them, it's what our recommended withdrawal rate is for a retiree. So we tell people they can spend 5% of their nest egg in retirement. So if you have $1 million, we say a $50,000 year distribution is safe withdrawal off that for it to last 30 years. So that's for a couple age 65.
Yeah.
And then the other concept in there is a 5-year stability bucket. So we have what we call growth bucket and stability bucket. The growth bucket's what it sounds like, it's invested in stocks, and it's there to, make sure your money is there, 30 years from now, and can still pay for things as what they've cost.
And
with
also based
inflation
on
and
number
stuff.
2, which is managing risk. So some investments are more risky, or some.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah. I mean, we're not big on. Some advisors will put a risk tolerance questionnaire in front of you and have you fill it out. We don't necessarily operate that way. It's more, you told us your goal was this.
Right.
We need the portfolio needs to look like this if you want that goal.
Here's the
Right.
strategy
Yeah.
where you say you want to go.
Or we're gonna
Yeah.
the risk is gonna be you running out of money and you're not,
Yeah.
you're gonna be calling me when you're 80 and being like, where's my money at? And
Be
it's
standing
gone.
on the corner out by Walmart with a sign looking for donations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's number 5? After cash flow plan.
Then it's just, that's the investment part of it. So
Okay.
Power of 5, which we kind of just went through. So those are like the 5 key areas that we really focus on with folks. And we also, taxes are involved in this the whole way. As part of that cash flow piece, we're monitoring, are we withholding enough taxes? Because we can do tax withholding for clients that are retired.
Got it.
Are we sending in enough to Uncle
I think
Sam?
they should tax retirees. I think people that work their butt off all their life should be untaxable.
Well, there's certain states that have limits set to where the first X amount of dollars from a retirement account aren't taxable. From a state standpoint, the federal government is,
Don't get me started. That's where we go
don't
to
get
the
him started.
Patreon.
Don't-
That's where the Patreon language comes in.
Uncle Sam's taking his,
Yeah, your silent partner.
I really love your philosophy on legacy. I mean, I can tell just from the way you get so excited about it that you're very passionate about this topic, but the legacy part of it, you mentioned it several times in your notes. And so I know that's also a big factor as you're working with people.
Yeah. Well, again, after someone realizes they've saved enough that they're going to be okay and they're going to make it in retirement and they're going to be able to, travel and do the things they want to do and take care of grandkids, volunteer, do charity work, then it becomes, well, what do you want it to look like for the next generation?
Yeah.
So, that can look like a whole bunch of things. Maybe they want to skip. They have enough for their immediate kids, but they want to help the grandkids. So, what needs to be in place to make sure that everything flows down the way, that they envision it.
Would this include like setting up foundations and that type of thing?
I was going to say, where's just philanthropy?
It could be, and again on that estate stuff where we talk high level about do you need a trust, what should maybe be in the trust, but we really refer out to the attorneys on making sure that stuff's drawn up properly and is meeting their wishes. So
you're coordinating between a lot of other people.
Correct. Yeah.
There's maybe an accountant that you got to work with. There may be an attorney you got to work with. There may be you're basically coordinating a lot of activity for that client.
Yeah. We're the quarterback. Yeah.
Right on.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think some people look at their CPA as more of the expert on some things.
Right.
But I don't know. Our clients that have been with us long enough, they understand.
Sure.
That,
and there's a difference between you and a CPA.
Right.
Well, you just touched on it, and it's a huge one.
Yeah, and the big difference that we see with CPAs is that they're trying to minimize your taxes right now, this year. What can we do so you can pay the least amount of tax right now? And we look at it from, again, we're hoping to work with someone for 30 to 40 years. It's a long time.
Right on.
How much tax can we save you over that 30 to 40 years by strategies that we can implement? Where this, we'll still work with the CPA to make sure that we're meeting today's rules.
Right.
But there's some things you can do to protect yourself from paying a bunch of tax down the road.
Yes.
And also, you're also really talking about growth too, growth strategies. So it's like balancing and finding some alignment with the growth and that tax deferment or whatever that would be.
Yeah, and the tax piece is more, everyone's heard of asset diversification or asset allocation. So, based back to that risk tolerance questionnaire, you're going to have 70% in stocks and 30% in bonds. Okay, well, now that we know it's going to be that, a lot of people will just say, okay, you got 3 or 4 different accounts and we're going to make it 70% stocks and 30% bonds and all these 3 different accounts and they're all taxed differently. So what you can do is maybe put more of the stocks in an account that's taxed differently than another account. Over time, we can minimize how much taxes you're going to pay. So that's called asset location, which is Buckingham has been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
Other people are starting to, kind of figure it out and take it on as well. But that's a big piece that we bring to the table, that we show people, hey,
That's
over
amazing.
time, we can model it out, but then each year we can show them, hey, by doing what we did this year, we're saving you this much money in future taxes.
Yeah.
Got it. What's the biggest mistake you see people make? You said retirees. And again, when I think of
that's what they
retirees,
focus on,
the people in my generation, actually, I'll go back to my parents' generation and say, back in those days, you worked in the same company for 30 years. My dad worked in
Got
the
a
same
gold
place for a
watch,
very long
and then
time.
you're done.
They had the retirement. Well,
Got a gold
yeah.
watch, got a pension.
Bye.
Right, all of it. And those days are so different now.
Oh, yeah.
Right? People will change jobs and careers multiple times in 30 years. And so the strategy has to have changed along with it. The tax code certainly has changed along with it. What's the biggest mistake or biggest challenge you see for people that are planning for their wealth management today?
Honestly, I think it's lack of planning.
Yes.
It's more lack of planning than anything else. I think, I don't know, the statistics are out that retirement savings are underfunded and people don't save enough and this and that. But maybe that's due to not having a plan.
Right.
We're not huge, fans of budgeting. Like we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to tell you what to do with your money.
Yeah.
But, if you tell us what you want to do, we can help you get there.
Right.
And so if you don't have a plan, then you're just kind of,
Having no plan is a
Going
plan
off.
to fail.
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Harrison, then how do people become aware of what is possible through an organization like yours?
Well, initial conversation is, like I said, is just a sit down. We call it a get acquainted meeting.
Sure.
Right.
So it's 30 minutes and the floor is yours. Like we try not to say too much in that call.
Sure.
You just tell us everything, we'll ask questions, obviously, to see what you're hoping to accomplish and where you're trying to go. What dreams and goals you have, what do you want to do when you retire?
Yeah.
But it starts there. That's where we start with folks. And if, from there we can then present something to them and ultimately it's their decision if they want to,
Right.
to hire us. Yeah.
So what about awareness outside of the office though? Like how do they find you? How are you is it networking that you do to meet
funny.
people or like obviously the podcast?
Me and Doc were talking about this.
We were talking about
yeah.
it, yeah.
And it's mostly referral based.
Okay.
So yeah, in our Cincinnati office of Buckingham. So Buckingham's all over the country. We have I think 90 offices. In our Cincinnati office, we work with about 215 families.
Okay.
And so in a lot of them, we have people that have worked with us for 30 years. So they're
Buckingham's been around for a long time. That's
Buckingham has that. Buckingham started out actually as a CPA firm.
and then they started
And
adding.
then they became a wealth management firm about 30 years ago. And they've just grown ever since. So that's why they have this huge tax focus on everything we're doing. But yeah, referrals is by and large the biggest way that
Well,
we
if
meet
you've been there
people.
30 years, then you're dealing with people's kids, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You guys
So
manage my
that-
folks as well,
that's
so why
another
would I
thing.
not do that
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah. So we meet with clients' kids and like they've become clients. So next generation, we have one family that we're working with. I guess it would be if it's grandpa, dad, and son. We have three generations that we're working with.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So do you help safeguard also? Are you looking out for these future generations too?
We would love to work, continue to work with the families
Sure.
if that's the case. It's our job to make sure that we include the family in conversation. So whenever mom and dad get old enough and think it's time to bring in son, daughter, whoever, then that's kind of how we get introduced if we haven't already been introduced to them. And that's more just they're now aware of what we've been doing for mom and dad.
Right.
That's an opportunity for us to continue working with the family.
So 9 years, you've seen economic changes. And
Yeah.
so how does that affect your business? How does it affect your families?
We tell clients all the time that, everything we do is looking at a long-term view. So like I said, we're going to work with someone for 30 to 40 years. Your retirement's going to be 30 to 40 years. We let them know on the front end that there's going to be bad markets in this 30 to 40 years. Yeah.
Hang
100%.
on tight. Yeah.
So that goes back to the Power of Five investing. If you go on Amazon and read that book, the one pillar is 5 years of stability. So back to that $1 million, you have $1 million and you're going to take 5%, it's $50,000 a year. We would take 250,000, so 5 years of the 50,000, and we put that in what's called the stability bucket. That's out of the market.
Got it.
So that money, you're spending money, what you're living on, that we know we're going to send you, is already out of the market.
Untouchable.
And fortunately now, fortunately or unfortunately, with inflation and interest rates, we're earning some decent yield on the safe stuff now. We weren't doing that when I first started working with this firm. But now we are. So, and the way we talk clients through that is there's never been a time where the market's been down more than 3 years in a row. So if we have 5 years set aside, some people might say it's too conservative, and that's okay, but it might help you sleep better at night knowing that you have 5 years set aside. So we have 5 years of their spending set aside, and when markets are down, we know that money's safe, and we have time to let the market come back.
I love that. I feel like that's part of the holistic approach, because when you're looking at finances, a lot of times it's emotional and mental stress that are related to somebody's finances. So if you're giving them peace of mind, being able to sleep at night, oh my gosh, that is a gift.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. And I wasn't with the firm in 08 and 09, but Eric and Pat were the firm was already around. And
For our younger viewers, what happened in 08 and 09?
the great financial crisis.
Dude,
so,
it hit the fan.
Yeah.
I had people that we take care of in the office that went to bed millionaires and they woke up thousandaires overnight.
Yeah.
And so that was a rock and roll crazy time frame. But like I said, not everybody may be plugged into that.
And we're on the other side of it. I mean,
The pendulum swung back, as you said.
Well, we had clients that kind of fought us, or they fought. I wasn't around, but I was a freshman in high school at that time. So they had clients that said, 5 years is a little conservative. I don't want to do that. Coming out of that, they went to 5 years and don't ever think about it. Don't ask us about it ever again because and they're comfortable with it now.
Amen. Yeah.
It's been.
So what are some of the future trends in wealth management?
I think where the industry's going, again, like I said, we're in the process of another merger. We're getting bigger, but we're bringing on more resources.
Yeah.
So the firm we're merging with actually has like 20 to 25 CPA and accountants on their staff. So we're picking up some tax planning in office where we might actually be able to do tax returns for clients. So we're going to manage their money. We're going to build financial plans. We're now going to offer tax planning. The next step, can we have in-house attorneys that offer the estate planning piece so we can just get the documents drawn up from there? And again, all that stuff, the idea of that with all that is that it's not costing the client any additional dollars than what they're already paying for us. So, they're going to pay a management fee for us to manage the money. And as part of that fee, you get all these other services.
Access to all these other resources.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. And it's a race to kind of get there in a way. So the industry
everybody's doing that.
Yeah. Well, everyone's trying to figure it out. I mean, it sounds easy to do, but with
anytime you involve that many people for that reason, and then the emotion and the stress connected to what can be very stressful when you're managing resources,
exactly,
and people,
right?
Yeah.
But I love the way you're optimizing people's financial health through these other services. It's really incredible. And you love what you do.
Yeah.
And your family's so proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other things that you'd like to add? How do people find you?
How do people find me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can go to buckinghamstrategicwealth.com. There's a lot of information on the website.
Sure.
Go to the locations page or the About Us page. You can go to the Cincinnati location. You'll see myself and the two others I work with in the office. Also check out, we do run events. So we do webinars and seminars that we have going monthly.
Nice.
So you can sign up for those. If you're not ready to sit down and meet with us, just hop on one of those webinars.
Oh yeah, that's a
Super
great
smart.
idea.
Yeah.
And they're
to know
monthly?
us. Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We
fantastic.
have them scheduled out. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when we're running them. But yeah, we're trying to put one out each month. So
That's a great intro.
It is a great intro. Do you do any in-person events like that?
we used to.
Yeah.
We haven't now. But maybe we should.
I think that people really are starting to like that again. For a
Yeah.
long time, it's like, ooh, we don't want to, be around people. But also then they got comfortable just not being around people. But I think people
Yeah.
want to be around people now again, don't you think?
I think we want to be around people. I'm not sure.
When we meet,
play with us.
yeah, when we meet with people for like that first consultation, that's usually in person. Most people prefer, and that's
Sure.
good.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
You feel
getting
their energy then.
Yeah, but not everyone's ready to sit down.
No.
So it's good if you can just hop onto one of these webinars. We typically do them around 12:30, middle of the day on a weekday. So trying to catch people at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Hop on, listen
Are
to
they
us talk.
recorded? Can I go back and see something in the archives?
We record them and then we email them out
Yep.
afterwards
Super cool.
To the people that were on them.
to the people that were on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we will take, parts and bits and pieces of them and put them on our website and stuff for people, if it's a topic about, I don't want to say it.
Something
And then you
timely.
start asking about it,
No, something,
Roth
no,
conversions.
something
or-
relevant
yes,
and timely, then
Yeah.
it may be a short snippet on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not here today to give advice in any
Correct.
form or fashion.
No. We had to sign all these documents and waivers before we started.
Yeah. We got the compliance
Don't
people
take it
involved.
seriously.
Well, we're highly regulated, so it's
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I like the idea of a coach. I like the idea of having somebody
In
who's
all
not going to,
aspects.
they're not going to carry the ball, but you're going to teach people how to carry the ball and having a plan
And give
a
them
strategy
choices.
and a more holistic version of that as
Yeah.
opposed to what maybe people might think of as traditional financial
Right.
management where there's product sales or other things involved. So no, I knew when we talked about this, it would be a good cast. I knew we would have a good,
Yeah, this has been wonderful.
Good
You
session.
have been an amazing guest. Rylan, Leland, Griffin, you guys, your dad was a superstar.
Ryan's gonna be so happy.
yeah.
No, this is fantastic. So any last bits of information that you want to share? It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, I don't
If
think
there's nothing, there's nothing.
I don't
If
think
there's
I got
something,
You
anything.
covered-
I
you
really
covered
appreciate
it.
you having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity to come on here.
Oh, we
It's been
appreciate
good.
you being here. Yeah, for sure.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
What should we have people do?
Subscribe, like, and follow. Make sure you
simple.
share this episode so that your friends and family can learn the right way to manage their future legacy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smash the subscribe button. Yeah.
There you go. He took your line, didn't he, babe?
No, I'm glad. I wasn't going to say it. It worked out
All right.
perfect.
We'll see you later. Bye.
But I wanted to find, do you remember when Caitlin would babysit, you guys made videos? You made movies.
I have those videos.
Do you have those?
I have those.
Is it videos of us doing Fear Factor stuff?
Yes.
Fear Factor
I remember
stuff,
that.
but also
Yeah, I remember that.
like it was the Tanner and Harrison show with your host. And you were wearing like underwear on your head and a necktie.
So one of the things that, since this is going to be like a professional podcast for him that he can use for.
Well, you can send us whatever you want,
But,
right?